Hello everybody, my name is Rudolf and welcome to the first official unboxing video of the Carvera Air CNC machine. What we'll do in this video is we will look at how to set up your machine, how to unwrap your machine, how to set your machine and remove it from the box, and also look at all the accessories and components included with your machine, and also some optional extras. So let's not waste any more time, let's get straight into that. So what we'll start off with is just opening the box. As you can see, this is a cardboard box. Now this has been drop tested. We've tested that it's secured and the machine inside is very protected. You're gonna see everything on the inside now. So what you'll start off with is just taking off the strapping. Just take that off. Take this one off. Take that one. So it's just 4 straps you need to cut through, and then you're gonna have to just take off the tape. And also take off these cover parts. So what I'll do is just score the outside of these brackets like that. Like that. And you can see that part will pop right off. We'll do the same. Just after this, let's just first get the machine out of the box. So you just have to take off the polystyrene part. Now you can see the whole machine is molded inside of this box. And here is your first view of the machine. Some silica, you can throw that away. And then what we're going to do is just take off the side padding, protective padding. Now this is not really a one-man job. So to get the machine out of the box, we really recommend getting a second hand. Just get out this piece over here. And the corner pieces, this all can be taken out. And the last one. Now this is the part where you need to just call a friend and an extra set of hands just to get it onto a table. Always make sure that you have quite a solid table so it can support the weight. The machine's weight is about 30 kilograms. So just make sure, use your legs and just get the machine on there. So I've got my friend here, Robbie is gonna help me just to put the machine on the table. It's quite a tight squeeze to get your hand underneath there, but if you once you got it, okay. Yeah, and just move that onto the table. There we go. All right. Okay, now that you have your machine on your table, now let's start unwrapping. This is the fun part. There's quite some plastic protection on the machine. This first main protection cover. To remove this, you can just lift the front. Shove that underneath the foot, shove that underneath the foot, go to the back, pull that through, lift it a little bit, pull that out, on this side, pull that out. And then we're gonna move on to the second plastic covering. Everybody loves doing this. Now that is just to keep the lid in place as well, and then you have a top section 2. Now for the first time you can actually open your lid. Now in the front there's some instructions how to open the lid. The first thing you have to do is just open 90 degrees and then push back and then level it backwards. So that's the lid, that's the action you need to do to open the lid. Just have to be quite level, and then there's your machine. Now on the inside here is all your accessories that's included, and also your optional extras. So if you have a 4th axis or a laser module also added to your order, then that's also inside of this box. Other things to the side here is you can see this little grip here. That's actually put there just to put your hand. It's a little grip hold there just to help you when you pick up the machine. So yeah, let's close this up again. Let's just remove this final cover. That is a very satisfying feeling. And then on the inside there should also be a cover. You can also remove this. one at the top. There's one on the inside too there that we will look at now. Okay, so let's remove this whole polystyrene piece. I'm just gonna rotate the machine a little bit to this direction. And then I'm gonna take out this whole section. That just slides out. And there you can see neatly boxed inside is all your accessories. So here you can see all the accessories that's included and your laser model as well. So this is optional extra. And then you just remove this from this piece of polystyrene. Pushing that out. And then there is your accessory box. We're going to run through that in detail now. Just put that to the side. And then the rest of the fourth axis, that's also in here. So you can just take out these foam protection. And then the fourth axis just slides out to the side. And there's your fourth axis, which is also an optional extra. Dust foot will connect everything like that now. And at the back is one more piece of foam that you just have to remove. So now that your accessories are to the side, now let's just have a look at the machine itself. So what we have here is the dust foot. Now it's a magnetic dust shoe. So what you just put it over the spindle area and that'll clip into place with the magnets right over the spindle area. So that's easy to remove and easy to put back too. And then you have this loose pipe. Now this is your air assist pipe. Now what to do with this, you can just pop that into position into this little blue knob area. That sits quite securely into that section. Open the nozzle, you can just pull this pin and rotate, but we can look at that later. Okay, and let's continue to the back of the machine. Oh, here's another cover I can remove. Lovely. And then on the inside of the machine, you can see here is a input switch for 115 volts or 320 volts. So depending on where you are in the world, you're just gonna have to switch that to the specific voltage input that you need on the machine. Let me just close this lid again here. Now I'm just gonna rotate the machine a little bit just to show you the back of the machine. Now what we have here is your e-stop button inlet, your extension port, that's for optional extras in the future, and then your data input plug and your charging USB plug. Then you have your main input. Now there's also a caution sticker on here saying that you just have to check on the inside to switch your input to either 230 or 110, and then the main switch, you switch the machine on and off. Your machine serial number is at the back here if you ever need to share that. And then at the back you can also see there's two panels. This is the access panel for all the electronics, and then this is the area for the pass-through. So if you want to extend, you have longer stocks, you just unscrew those 6 screws and you can move this bottom panel to put in longer stock. Let me rotate a little bit more. On this side you can see there's a dust extraction outlet, so you plug your external vacuum into this hole, and then your air assist compressor air you just plug into this hole. This is an 8mm and this is a 20mm. Okay, and let's go back to the front. And then lastly, on the front side of the machine, you have your main button at the top here, and then you have an LED strip that has quite a lot of features that we will dig into later. So that's the machine itself. Let's carry on and open up the accessory boxes. Now, some of you won't have this top accessory, which is the laser module. I'm gonna go into this at the end. Let's just first look at all the standard parts that's included with your machine, which is these three packages. So let's just open up these guys. First one at the top here is the toolkit. Now the toolkit, there's a few parts to this. And this is probably the part that you'll use the most on your machine. Okay, so first let's look at what's in the toolbox. So you can open this up and then just remove the silica bag. And then what you have over here is just a few items that you'll use to operate the machine. This is the part that you use the most, I think, in daily milling. So what you have here is the L bracket. Now this is what you use to mount in your anchor point 1 position or anchor point 2 position, just to locate stock and just position it in the correct area. Now you'll also use the 4mm dowel pins to locate this bracket in a very precise position, and then you lock the bracket down with the screws that's included here. You have 3 different screws. You have your short, medium, and long screws, so that depends on the thickness of the stock that you're mounting to your bed. And then you also use your top clamps and in combination with your screws to mount that specific stock to the bed. Then you have a combination of drill bits that's included with the machine. Now this is just to run the example tools. You can find many different bits also available on our store. And then you have the tool collar installer, which you can use to fit the collar to your specific tool. Now the collar is this little black part over here. Now this tool installs this collar in the correct position, so you always know if you're installing the tool that there's enough shaft that's actually fixed to the collar. So a very useful tool. You can also use it to remove the collar from the tools. And also if it's a bigger tool like a 6mm or a 1/4 inch, you can also use this tool to mount the collar to that tool. And over here we have the collet installer tool. So you use this to change your collet either from an 1/8 of an inch to a 4mm, 1/4 inch, or a 6mm. So you just screw this at the bottom, and then you can unscrew and screw in your new collet. These 3 holes are made so you can actually house your collet. So this is just a little storage for the collars. And then you have obviously the screwdriver that you use the most when mounting materials and also positioning and also using the machine. And that is what is included in the toolbox. Let's move on to the next box. Next part we'll look at is the accessories. Now in here is a few different items that you'll use daily with the machine. So let's just run through these. First of all, it's your power cable. Now depending on where you are in the world, we will send a according plug. We're in China at the moment, so this is included. You just plug this in the back of the machine, plug into a power outlet, and you're ready to go. That's the first part. Then you have your phone holder, which is what you mount to the side of the machine just to hold your phone or your tablet. So for you to control it if you ever need to use that onto the machine. That screws onto the side with 2 screws, and so it's very easy to install and to use. Next we have just the backup screws and also an Allen key to unscrew and screw them in. Also included is 38 of an inch bit collars. So you can use this. All these parts are also available on our store, so if you ever need more, you can always order that from our store as well. Also included is a few spare tool bits, 10 of them. And then you have your manual tool setter. Now this can be used if you are using a piece of material and you need to locate the origins of that material or the exact position of that material. Now you can use this with the probe tool, which you can then plug into the side of the machine. Then you can mount on the inside of this angle. You can mount your material, for example, if this is your material, you can put this on the corner of the material, lock that into place, and then you can run this and find the exact position corner of that material. So a very useful tool if you're trying to locate stock, position stock, and just a good tool in general. And then we have the box for the wireless probe. Now in here, this is empty because that's already installed on the machine. And then you have your 4 different collars, 1/8 of an inch, 4mm, 6mm, and a 1/4 inch. Then we just have a basic USB cable just to plug in your computer or laptop or phone to the machine. Then you have your safety goggles. Always remember that safety is first. So if you're ever milling with the lid open or if you're working close to the machine, it's always good to just put on the safety goggles because obviously protect your eyes, because safety first. And then last but not least in this box is the emergency stop button. Now this is always good to have if you're close to the machine. This is obviously a very accessible button, and this will stop all everything that's happening on the machine at that current moment. And to access this, you just turn it, put it in neutral, and then if you hit stop, it'll lock into place, and then that will activate the emergency stop and halt everything that's busy on the machine at that moment. And then let's look at the materials box. Now what's included here is quite a few things, and let's just run through everything that's included here. You have a mini handsaw. So this is just a cool tool to just cut off if you have any tabs or something small you need to cut off. And you have a blade included here as well. You can actually fit the blade, screw this top part, and just lock that in place like that. You have a nice little saw blade you can use. There's also a different type of blade included for finer details. And then you have your LED light assembly kit. Now this is just a basic if you would ever want to make your own. All the parts is included here to make your own PCB like this. So all the components is included. So you have a spare, that's for your LED project. And then if you ever want to make your own PCB, you can use all these components and solder them on your board that you've made yourself to create your own PCB, working PCB. And then you have some double-sided tape that you can use to mount your stock into the bed. A sanding block. Here's another small sanding block. It's got different grits on the different sides. They're also very useful. And then raw materials. So you have a single-sided PCB board, there's two of them, and then you have also a double-sided PCB board, and there's two of them as well. Then you have a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter piece of aluminum plate. It's 5mm thick. Then you have two boards of epoxy tooling board. They're 10mm thick. Then you have some waste board material. You can use this and trim this as you need. You have two of them. Then you have ABS plastic plate. Now this can be used to cut the example like base. It's quite a thick piece of material, but it's also very useful and versatile. And then you have two pieces of acrylic plate to finish off your light project. Now let's just look at that first page that I removed from the box, or the first folder I removed from the box. Now there's quite a few things in here. It's quite useful. First of all is the unboxing guide. Now in here you can kind of see everything that I've just explained in the video. You can run through that if you ever need to. We've also included two spares of the rail covers on the machine. If they ever break or get damaged, we can replace them. You have some stickers. And then two booklets, which is the instruction manual and also the example guide booklet. And here you can find all three projects that we include with the machine, which is the 4th axis job, the 3-axis job, relief job, and then you have your laser engraving, and then all the parts to make your own LED light. And then also included is some spoil boards. You have two of them that you can just mount on top of your machine base, that you don't ever have to touch or mill into your machine base. So this is quite a neat little feature that we've included, and this is also available in our store if you ever need to buy some more. Now let's move on to the optional extras. So all of you, this may not include it with all of your packages, but if you wanted to buy the optional extras, you have two options as an optional extra, which is the laser module. So let's open this first. So at the top here you can see there's a little YouTube code, and you can scan that to watch an operational guide video about the laser. Then included here is some laser goggles, just for some UV protection. They are red. So always be careful using the laser. And then pop out this part over here. And then there's a cable included, and the cable, and then the laser module itself. And then here you see the laser. You can also see there's an air inlet on the side of the laser there, where you can actually put the air assist into, and then that avoids any burrs or burn marks off your artwork, whatever you're using it for on the machine. And now this can just plug. You can see there's a shaft on the inside there. Now that can just plug into the inside of your collar. It's got a cover at the back here, and then the cable included. You push the one end on this side, and then you put the top end at the top on the side of your machine. Okay. And then last accessory that we're going to look at today is the fourth axis. Now, I think some of you are quite excited about this fourth axis because the possibilities you have on this module is quite endless. And here you also have a little booklet. This just shows you how to install the fourth axis and how to mount the stock. So you can run through that. There's also a link on there so you can actually go look at the operating guide video for the fourth axis. So remove this top cover, silica bag you can throw. And then included here is some epoxy tooling boards for the fourth axis, 2 of them. Then you have some backup screws and Allen key, and you also have this little plug just for wire routing on the inside. We'll show you a detailed clip and positioning of that too. And then the fourth axis. Oh, sorry. There's also some chuck wrenches. You use this to actually mount the stock. So you put the one on this side, and you put the other one on that side. And with that, you can open and close the chuck to tighten your stock. Let's take this out of here. So this is the fourth axis. It's driven by a stepper motor, and then the stepper motor drives a harmonic drive which sits in this area, and that links up to your chuck. So the chuck stock can go up to just under 100 millimeters, so you can put quite large pieces of material on this. And then you have your opposite end, which you'll use your screwdriver to just move. So this part is movable, and here you can lock in the front end and the back end to lock in your stock. And then this back end can also move all the way back. At the bottom you can see here, this is where you put your alignment pins, one there and one there, and you use these 6 screws to fully mount the stock to the bed. So very cool tool, and that just plugs into the inside of the machine. Very cool tool, very versatile. Yeah, that's the fourth axis.